Hey, welcome everyone. Today I'll walk you through our recent display campaign performance report across Alberta and Saskatchewan. Rather than just sharing data, I'll highlight the specific optimization opportunities that can improve ROI by up to 40% in our next flight. Let's just start with a high level overview of what we accomplished, of the data that we received. As we can see here, this 4-day campaign delivered 257,762 impressions, resulting in 363 clicks at a $1.85 effective cost per click. While these baseline metrics are important, the real value lies in the performance patterns we've uncovered within the specific segments. Our analysis reveals several high-performing segments that were significantly underutilized, presenting clear optimization opportunities. So I'm going to focus today's presentation on actionable insights rather than just reporting numbers with the specific recommendations you can implement immediately. Now let's examine our first key findings about creative format performance. Our analysis of creative formats reveal dramatic performance differences. Despite the 300 by 250 format receiving the highest impression volume, it was the 320 by 50 mobile banner that drove engagement, real engagement. What's fascinating here is how format choice impacts user behavior. You know, the 320 by 50 mobile banners are expected to have higher impression rates, but the 300 by 250 format is expected to have higher conversion rate because this type of ad is displayed in both mobile but also desktop devices as well as tablets. And it's not a hidden secret that desktop traffic converts higher than mobile traffic. So yeah, as you can see here, the purple bars show impression distribution while the yellow lines track um, while the yellow lines track clicks, as you can see here. Notice how the 320 by 50 format generates disproportionately high engagement despite moderate impression volume. Let's look specifically at click performance across formats to see this pattern more clearly. As you can see here, the click data tells an even more compelling story. The 320 by 50 mobile format delivered 234 clicks. That's 65% of all campaign clicks, despite receiving only 33% of impressions. More importantly, this format achieved our highest CTR at 0.27% while maintaining our lowest effective cost per click or ECPC at $1.50. This suggests our audience is primarily engaging on mobile devices. Let's examine the click-through rate or CTR performance to see the dramatic efficiency differences between the formats. So as you can see here, the CTR comparison makes the opportunity crystal clear. The 320 by 50 format delivered a click-through rate of 0.27%, nearly 5 times higher than the worst performing format, and 93% higher than the campaign average. This presents our first major optimization opportunity. I recommend immediately shifting 60% of our budget to this format in our next flight or optimization, which could improve overall campaign efficiency by approximately 15 or 20%. Now let's look at another key dimension, which is the daily performance patterns. So we can track behavior at a specific day, right? So analyzing the performance by day of week reveals another clear pattern. Friday, May the 5th, emerged as our efficiency sweet spot with the highest click-through rate or CTR at 0.19%, 36% above campaign average. Note the significant engagement drop over the weekend, particularly on Sunday. Here, this isn't random variations, it's a consistent pattern we've observed throughout the campaign. And I'd like to take some actions based on this. Let's examine how these daily patterns affects our cost efficiency. So looking at the same data from a cost perspective reinforces the opportunity. Friday they'll deliver our lowest ECPC at $1.27, 31% below campaign average. While Sunday was our most expensive day at $2.48 per click. You can see this represented by the blue lines. This presents a clear day-based optimization opportunity. By implementing simple day parting, we could capture more high-quality clicks without increasing overall spend. Next, let's examine how we can translate this daily insight into a concrete optimization strategy. Good. So this slide, as you can see here, translate our daily findings into a practical bidding strategy. I recommend implementing day parting with a 15% bid increase on Fridays and a 20% reduction on Sundays. As you can see here, the click-through rate was we had the highest click-through rate on Friday, right, and the lowest effective cost per click on Friday, and vice versa on Sunday, the lowest click-through rate and the highest effective cost per click. So this relatively conservative this approach this approach would improve overall campaign efficiency by 8 to 10% without any other changes. Just by implementing this, we could potentially be more aggressive with a 25 to 30% swing. But I suggest starting with this modest adjustments to validate performance. So let's move on to the next slide to another dimension to approach this at the hourly level. Let's see if we can find some patterns. Okay, as you can see here, we have the chart displaying the impressions against the hour of the day and also the click-through rate on the other side. So on hour-by-hour analysis, it revealed three distinct high-performance windows. We have early morning from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m., early evening at 6 p.m., and prime time at 8 p.m. These windows deliver or are showing that click-through rates can go up to 71% above average and effective cost per clicks as low as $1.07. What's valuable is how these windows align with key moments in consumers' daily routines. So for example, morning commute, arriving from home, and evening relaxation, right? So by allocating 60 or 70% of our budget to these prime windows, we can significantly improve efficiency without sacrificing reach. So let's examine audience demographics, starting with our most dramatic findings on the gender performance differences, right? So let's take this into account and let's move into the next subject or approach, demographic performance analysis. So our audience analysis revealed the most dramatic performance differential in the campaign, gender targeting. So females users show a 3.2 times better click-through rate at 0.32% versus 0.10% for males, despite receiving only 70% of the impressions and a limited amount of the budget. So this represents our highest impact optimization opportunity so far. The performance gap isn't marginal, it's substantial across all metrics and is statistically significant given our sample size. Let's look at how this impacts our cost efficiency by audience. Translating the generated data to budget impact makes the opportunity even clearly, and I hope you can see this as well. And let me know if you have questions so I can answer them before moving into the next. So as you can see here, female audience deliver clicks at $0.74, right? Each versus $2.56 for males. That's 3.5 times better efficiency. Despite this dramatic difference, we're currently allocating 83% of our budget to the underperforming male audience. I recommend gradually shifting toward a 60-40 strategy female male split, which our model suggests could improve overall campaign performance by 25 or 30%. Now let's look at another demographic dimension, which is the age group performance. Okay, so the age targeting presents another significant optimization opportunity. The 35 to 49 age group achieved a standout 0.36% click-through rate, or CTR, and $0.82 effective cost per click, more than twice as efficient as other segments. What's noteworthy here is that this high-performing segment received only 7% of the impressions and ad spend, our smallest allocation. Even a moderate reallocation would yield substantial efficiency gains here. It would definitely change the story for this specific age group demographic. Let's examine the geography performance to complete our multidimensional analysis. Our geography analysis challenges conventional assumptions about market performance. Smaller markets like Buena Vista with 0.43% click-through rate and Leduc with 0.19% click-through rate significantly outperform major urban centers, as you can see here, and Leduc. Very low effective cost per click. This suggests that implementing a three-tier geographic bidding approach using premium bids for top performance, right? Standard bids for mid-tier cities, and reduced bids for underperforming locations can really optimize our allocation, our spend allocation, right? Because we can optimize our budget towards the locations that are showing to have the most effective cost per click. At the same time, locations that are showing an excellent click-through rate, right? So now that we've identified different optimization opportunities across multiple dimensions, demographics, let's see how they combine into a comprehensive strategy, because we want to optimize the campaign and be able to bring even bigger and stronger results, right? So let me take you there. Here's a view of our key findings across all the dimensions, right? We have the creative format, we have the audience targeting, the daytime targeting, the geography, and the budget allocation. Each of these represents a significant optimization opportunity. For example, the creative format, we have the 320 by 50 mobile banners inside, because it was able to deliver a 93% higher click-through rate compared to the other formats, right? So that's the first area of opportunity. Then we have the audience targeting. where we discovered that female users show 3.2 times better performance. And we have the daytime targeting, which means that Friday outperformed by 36% with distinct hourly peaks. We also have the geography findings, where we were able to identify smaller markets significantly outperform expectations. Right, cities like Lidok or Buena Vista being able to outperform expectations compared to major cities. Right, so we also have the budget allocation. Current distribution is misaligned with performance metrics. So now that we have all of the information about this demographics and the behavior of the creative formats and the audience, we can definitely identify a misalignment with the performance metrics or the usage of the ad spend across all the dimensions or across all the segments of this campaign. If we combine all of these optimizations or insights, we could improve the campaign efficiency by 35 to 45%, potentially delivering 60% more clicks within the same budget. Using the same budget, we can even get 60% more clicks. The data, it clearly shows that by implementing these 5 core strategies, we can potentially improve campaign efficiency by 35 to 45%. And the beauty of it all is that this approach it is flexible. We can implement these changes in specific phases or in batches uh, in order to be able to measure the impact at each stage. And I recommend we start doing this optimizations with the highest impact changes being gender rebalancing and creative formats optimization today or tomorrow, while developing the more complex time-based optimizations in 2 more phases of 1 to 2 days each, to be able to have some time to measure the results as we dive deeper into the more complex changes that we need to implement in order to increase the performance of this campaign. So, with your approval, we can begin these adjustments immediately while continuing to gather data to refine our approach. Let's translate all of these insights into a concrete action plan. So here's a very similar view, but I've divided this into 3 phases, as you can see here. This is phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. Okay? So on phase 1, we want to focus on creative format and gender targeting, shifting 60% of the budget to the mobile banner high performing creative format and implementing a 60 to 40 female male split test. Again, all of this is envisioned to be tested using creating new campaigns or at the ad set level or the ad group level to be able to test at the same time with the current campaign that's currently bringing the results we just reviewed, right? In order to be able to identify the differences and validate these different optimizations, so then we can gradually shift all of the budget from the old version of the campaign to the new version, right? So, yeah. On phase 2, we plan on addressing the daytime targeting with precision day parting, hourly parting, implementing Friday premium biddings, and hourly adjustments, right? On phase 3, we want to add geographic optimizations and implement conversion tracking for deeper ROI analysis, return on investment analysis. As currently with the data that we have, it's very hard for us to determine if what's the return on investment that this campaign is currently bringing to the table, right? So let's look at the specific budget implications of these recommendations that I just showed you in order to better explain to you how I envision testing each of these shiftings or reallocations of the budget. As you can see here, we have the optimization strategy per segment. We have uh, the different dimensions, right? The different segments within each dimension and the current allocation of the budget, the current amount that's being spent, right? And the allocation on a percentage. What I'm proposing as the optimized percentage of that allocation, and what I'm proposing as the optimized amount that we need to apply for each of these segments, right? And the difference as well, so you can check it out. So this basically shows exactly how I recommend redistributing the $670 campaign spend across each of these dimensions, right? So for gender, we shift from 17% to from 17% for female and 83% for male to a more balanced split to a 60% for female and 40% for male, as we've discovered that the female audience is performing better with a lower click-through rate. So reallocating nearly $300 to the high-performing female audience, it's what's going to help us drive even better results, ROI, without having to invest any extra amount. Okay, so let's keep going. For age groups, we increase the 35 to 49 age group from a current allocation of 7% to use a 50% of spend, a $281 reallocation to our best performing demographic. The phase approach on the right, on the right, right? This phase approach here, it's ensuring control implementation with continual performance validation, right? So we're given each of these changes on each of the phases 1 to 2 days to come back to us with new data, so we can really determine if the changes are substantially good. So let's look at the these 3 different phases. So we have the foundation where we're testing the gender and the creative format, right? And we're allocating $167 per test group. On phase 2, we plan on as I just explained, on testing age and geographic with the base campaign. Testing it against the base campaign to be able to measure the difference or the results. And then on phase 3, kind of like a similar story, where we're testing the day parting and the hour parting, and where we plan to implement the conversion tracking to be able to track ROI even better. I'm also planning on optimizing some of the creatives that we have for the highest impressions formats, so we can see if we can bring up the results on the ones that are not performing very well right now by switching the creatives, right? That's also another strategy that I'll implement on phase 3, which is like the 6th or 7th day of this whole implementation, right? So pretty simple. We're going to create campaigns for the dimension splits. We're gonna use campaign budget caps to enforce allocation, and we're going to implement bit modifiers for the sub dimension, right? Okay, so let's look at the testing structure for each of these phases here. So here I've outlined our testing methodology for each phase. We have phase 1 here, we have phase 2 here, and phase 3. Phase 1 is proposing or employs an A/B testing approach for the gender and creative format optimizations, with 50% of the allocation to each test group. which is calculated to be $167 per day. Sorry, in total. On phase two, we plan on maintaining the base campaign while running parallel tests for age and geographic targeting. So we plan on having 60% of the total allocation of the ad spend of the ad budget to the base campaign, while at the same time we're given some budget, right? Some budget allocation to test the different performance of the age groups, right? So yeah, it pretty much explains itself. So the same story for the geography testing. The idea is to maintain the base campaign while running parallel tests to test the age, groups, and the geographic targeting. On phase three, we introduce the day and hour partner tests or strategy while implementing conversion tracking. This all of this structure that I'm presenting to you, I'm going to send it to you as well, so you can have a copy. And yeah, it's all well structured to minimize the risk while accelerating our path to improve performance. What we're trying to do here is minimize the risk while accelerating our path to improve performance. And we include a specific performance benchmark so we can quickly identify if any strategy needs refinement, right? Good. So now let's examine the projected results from this implementation. Based on all of these performance differentials and after I've identified all of these insights about on each segment, here's what we can realistically expect through our optimization strategy. So as you can see here on the purple bars, while impressions are projected to decrease slightly, we can see here that the click-through rate or CTR will steadily increase. You can see the orange line here going up because we are expecting to have an even better click-through rate. Higher click-through rate, higher interaction, but fewer impressions because higher intent traffic and clicks have a higher cost. That's why we're seeing this reflected on the chart. And as you can see here, the blue line, which is the effective cost per click, we expect this to decline as well because we are optimizing the allocation towards what really works. So this phasing or phase approach or implementation on different phases delivers incremental performance gains at each stage that we can track and measure after the initial 48 hours. By the end of the 7 days, we project a 60% more clicks at a 35 to 40% lower effective cost per click. Right, so we have phase one that focuses on the highest impact, lowest effort changes, gender rebalancing, and creative format adjustments. So we expect these changes alone to deliver 15 to 20% efficiency improvement within the first 2 days, right? Here. Then on phase two, we add the demographic and geographic optimizations. Approximately summarizing both of this, we can expect approximately 25 to 30% improved efficiency up to this point here on phase two. Now on phase three, it's when we complete the optimization, when we finally combine when we finally combine the gender rebalancing and the creative format adjustments with the geographic and demographic adjustments, but also with the hourly parting and day parting adjustments. So now combining all of these changes into what we're going to expect by the end of phase 3. As you can see here, that's I'm not saying it. You can see it here. It's a substantial decrease of the cost, a obnoxious increase of the click-through rate, meaning that by the end of phase 3, we are going to have a 35 to 45% efficiency potential. Right? Each of these projections are conservative and based on the actual performance differences we have identified on the campaign. And I can assure you that we'll track these metrics daily to ensure we're meeting or exceeding these targets. Okay, so all right, so let me wrap up let me wrap this up with a summary of our next steps, right? Our analysis has identified clear optimization opportunities that could significantly improve campaign performance. With your approval, we can begin the phase 1 optimizations immediately, delivering the first round of efficiency improvement within the first 48 hours. Thank you for your time, attention, and I'm happy to answer any questions about the analysis or implementation strategy after this or now, if you want. So yeah, feel free to send me your messages through Slack, via email, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you again for your attention. I hope this was useful. Let me know if we can start optimizing and driving more revenue to your business. Thank you. Have a great day.